Dee, God bless you. Standing with you on this one, and it's over to you. The stage is yours.
Thank you, my lovely. Well, all day I've been thinking, what do I say? I've been like, oh Lord, you've put me here. Now what do I say? And he just sort of put it in my head to write a letter. So I've written a letter to my disease, and I'm going to read out my letter, and it kind of explains a little bit about it. And I hope that's not too left field, but anyway. So this is it. I'm writing to you to explain why I can no longer have you in my life. I know that you've been around since I was a young woman. In fact, I believe you were with me in my early years, but you were more in the background waiting for a more opportune time to reveal yourself. I see now that your friendship, if I can call it that, has been a toxic one. You've used manipulation to get me to act in shameful ways, and I said nothing. You got me to steal and lie about my food. Like a slow-release poison, you have been dripping your poison over many years. But I don't want this to go on any longer. I used to think you would comfort me and take my mind off how alone I felt. If I was upset or angry, even in times of happiness, you promised you'd be there, and you were. But I got drunk on your promises and always woke up trying to remember why I fell for your lies again. I felt stupid, betrayed, and a failure for not remembering how this time together always ended. I became dependent on you, my abuser, unknowingly, not knowing anything else. You convinced me I knew no better, that it was our secret and no one understood me like you did. Better the devil you know, the saying goes. I'd always return to the familiar, however much it hurt. I went to my doctor, to friends, counsellors, I got prayed for, I read books, I watched documentaries and researched until I couldn't think straight. But each time you'd invite me to share my life with you again, to give you another chance, and each time I did, another piece of me died until I almost lost the will to fight any longer. I prayed I would die, either by your hand or mine. Now I've taken the brave step of trying again, to free myself from your lies. I have the help I need now to never give my life over to you again. You're right, it isn't easy, and running to you like I used to, I have got some good memories of you being part of my life. Some are funny, but mostly they're painful. You told me I could never tell anyone about what we did in secret together, that I would be thought mad. Maybe I was back then, but now I begin to see things for how they really were. You've never been a kind and reliable friend. I believe I'm stupid, a glutton, a slob, that I never stick at anything. I don't believe I will never be a healthy weight. I don't believe people want me around, or that I shouldn't ask for help and never trust anyone. I don't believe I am a bad person. I have been gravely ill, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Humiliation, ridicule, and compulsive overeating. I choose to say goodbye to you. If every day you knock on the door of my life to come back in, I will refuse to let you get a foothold again. I have been granted a daily reprieve. I have a solution that works. God is doing for me what I could never do for myself. Goodbye to you, compulsive overeater. You are not welcome in my life. And that kind of sums up how it has been. And even coming into recovery years ago, when I thought I was ready for recovery, I was desperate for a solution, something that would shed me of the weight. But I didn't realise back then just how sick I was and how progressive this disease is. Because it used to convince me that I wasn't as bad as other people, that I never got to be more than 215 pounds, that was quite acceptable, that was okay. And comparison kills, and it was killing me, because I'd either decide I wasn't as bad as somebody else I saw, or I told myself I could be so much better if I was slimmer. And whatever I thought in my head what the prize would be of being slim, it never delivered what I thought it would. So although I lost weight before in Grey Sheet, and I've said it before in these rooms that I didn't go for the full recovery, I hadn't realised back then just how sick I was. I kept telling myself that there had to be somehow a diet out there that would work, that maybe I'd approached it wrong. So I just kept rejoining all the slimming clubs I'd done before in the hope that somehow something would stick this time. And it never did, because the binging just got worse. And I just was always trying to manipulate a food plan. And it wasn't really a food plan. You weren't, on the slimming things that I'd go on, as long as you kept within your points, you could eat what you want. Well, unless someone tells me what I'm supposed to be eating and in what amount, I have no clue whatsoever. And so the Grey Sheet gives me peace of mind around what I'm eating. I can speak to any other Grey Sheeter and ask them, what can I do with this vegetable? What can I do with this thing that's on? And I'll get a response back. And I know it'll be a safe response. And I'll check it with my sponsor. But I'm getting a plan for how to eat. And I have never been taught how to eat. From a child, I was never taught how to eat. I didn't learn how to eat in my younger years, and no idea. And I have no idea how to live an abstinent life, because I haven't lived an abstinent life before. I've got abstinent and I've lost my weight before, but then I went out of the rooms because I got full of pride. I didn't want to ask people for help. I started to feel arrogant because I started to feel good about myself. At the same time, I was scared to be in a slim body. I didn't know how to act in a slim body. I was scared of people's reactions. And I realised that there's an awful lot of insecurity. And I used to hide behind being a bigger person to a certain extent. And when I haven't got that anymore, I'm scared of what it's going to be like to lose the weight this time. I'm determined to stay abstinent because I know that's what higher power wants me to do. But unless I come to these rooms, and unless I listen to my sponsor, and unless I follow the steps, Grey Sheet has only been yet another diet that I've done that's lost the weight. But it hasn't dealt with the emotional and the spiritual damage that's been done over the years, either to myself or by others to me, that I've taken on board as being who I am. And I truly believe that through abstinence, the full programme, I'm going to discover who I really am and be able to walk confidently in the world, not worried about what other people think about me, but to be secure in who I am and to be a well person in all areas. And I think, I can only speak for myself, but from experience of being in Grey Sheet before and going out, there is nothing out there. I've tried everything. I've done every type of research there can be. There is nothing out there that gives me the peace of mind that Sheet does. I'm not thinking about food all day. I'm not afraid to go in the supermarket. By the grace of God, I do have now, neutrality around the food. I can walk down the aisles for food items for my family. I no longer have a martyr attitude of, oh, woe me, I have to go and pick all these foods up for my family. I'm working my programme, I'm not working theirs. If they want to eat the foods that they're eating, they eat them, they're not mine. And now I'm just in my own peaceful place around food. I know what I choose each week off my shopping list that works with my Grey Sheet programme. That's in my basket, that's my stuff, that's their stuff. I've always cooked separately because I've always been on a diet or some faddy thing. So for me, it's no problem cooking a meal for 3 of my people at home, and my meal is separate. And sometimes they look at my meal and they want what I've got, so that makes it easy. But I don't want to go back to how my life used to be. And I see what other people have got in abstinence, and I want what they've got. And I know what it's like to lose your abstinence and come back and try to get your abstinence back. And I have to say it's worth it. It's worth fighting to get your abstinence back and to keep your abstinence, because I can tell you it is hell trying to get your abstinence back. And if you do it half-heartedly, it just crushes you. And I don't want to lose the friendships that I've made in this place. I feel like I've got an extra family, somewhere where if I'm feeling a bit wacky, I can tell people I'm feeling wacky and they come back and say, yep, I feel exactly the same. And you feel it's okay. And they say, you know, at the beginning you have bedroom slippers. Well, I read on Facebook today, somebody with over 23 years of abstinence decided to put her bedroom slippers on today, and I breathed a sigh of relief. I thought, good. It doesn't mean that when you get to 90 days, suddenly you'd never put your bedroom slippers on again. And if you get to 23 years and you recognise you need to put your bedroom slippers on, then you do what you need to do to stay abstinent. And so this really is a one day at a time programme. And I think one day at a time is all I can handle. You know, if I try and think what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to be overwhelmed, because I've never been able to do life on life's terms without, you know, foods that we don't eat. And now I'm learning to live life without those foods that we don't eat. So I'm having to learn how to do life differently. And if I didn't have this programme, I'd be completely lost. And if I didn't have all of you, I'd be completely lost. And every time that people turn up to a meeting, you never know how much you're going to help somebody else. I've heard so much strength in these rooms where people have either given me the qualification, or people who fed back on the qualification say something and I know it's God speaking to me through them. And I'm like, right, that's what God wanted me to hear today, to protect my abstinence. So never underestimate the importance of turning up at a meeting, because you never know what you might hear and you never know what you might say. And you might just say something that will stop somebody going out of the rooms, or you might hear something that will stop you going out of the rooms. And that's why it's so important to turn up. And I don't really have an awful lot more to say. I don't know what my time is. I don't know how much time I've got left.
20 minutes.
Oh, well, that's perfect timing then. So thank you so much. And I'm really grateful to people that have welcomed me back and taken away any shame that you know you go out and you think, I'm never going to be able to show my face again. There's never been any of that in these rooms. I've just always received love. And I just hope you always receive that love back as well if you're struggling at the moment. So thank you.